Good morning, one and all. Today we are going to see about the topic network information security. I am presented by my name is K.Sathiya, Assistant Professor, Computer Science and Engineering, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. The topic is logical design. So see here, the information security policies is nothing about the planning for the security. Creation of information security program begins under or review of organization information security policies, standards and practices. So then you can select or creating of information security architecture. We have to develop and use the detailed information security. By the use of a blueprint, we can create some plans for our future success. Security education and training to successfully implement the policies and ensure secure environment. And what is the planning for a security is creating a security program for a organization, and we are going to give some security policies and standard and some practices, right? Then they will going to give some selection or creation process for a information security. So according to the selection and creation only, the architecturing is developing, and we are using some detailed information security blueprint for creating the plan for a future success. In third step, we are going to give some education and a training for the people to give a successfully implemented policies in our secure environment. So why policies are using? A quality information security program begins with some policies. Okay. The policies are least expensive and it means of control and often the most difficult to implement. See what they are saying. So the quality information security programs that gives up some gives some policies, and that the policies are least expensive means of control and often the most difficult to implement. Some basic rules are followed when shaping a policies. Some basic rules are never conflict with law, stand up in court, properly supported and administrated, and fourth step is to contribute to the success of the organization. And fifth step is we have involved the end users of the information system. So what they are saying, in the equality information security program, we are giving some end up with policies. Policies are least expensive. So mainly the people will see about the expensive of the organization, right? And it means to control and often difficult to implement. So according to the expensive only, they are decide to implement that process in an organization, and how to implement that process in the organization for a security process. Some basic rules are must be followed when shaping a policies. So when shaping a policies, some given ideas are they given for a basic rules. That is the following. That basic rules are following: never conflict with law, stand up in court, and properly supported and administrated, contributed to the success of the organization, and we have to involve the end users for the information system. So third one we are going to see about the definitions. What are the policies and what are the standards and what are the practices we are following in an organization for a security process. So in the policy here, we are going to see about the post action used by the organization. Okay, so we are going to see about the action of the organization to convey the instructions from the management to those who perform duties. Okay, so they are giving some organization policies. We have going to convey that instruction from the management, and going to convert that messages from instructions to the management, and who are going to perform the duties, we are going to convey that. So it consists of the three steps, that is organizational rules for acceptably and unacceptably behavior, penalties for violations, appeals process, and next we're going to see about standards. What is the standards? This is a more detailed statement of what must be done to comply with the policy. So what is the standards? It is a more detailed. statement of what must be done by the company with the policies. And third one is the practices. We are going to that practices. We are going to procedure and we are going to give the guidelines for it. And effectively, we are going to give this pre-process to the how to the policies people who are going to build that organizations. For a policy, there be it should be effective. It must be right. So it is nothing but of a properly disseminated, read, understood, and agreed to by all the members of the organizations. So what are they saying? And for a policies to be effective, it must be a properly disseminated and read and understood, agreed to by all the members of the organizations. Okay. Next, we are going to see about this some standard policies and practices are following in the information security for an organization. And see here, policies are sanctioned by senior management. It's directly communicated with some policies, and the policies are going to give some standard. The standard will participate in practices, procedures, and guidelines. So, see in the left side, they are giving some three policies. That is, what are the policies, what are the standards and practices they are going to communicate with the organizations, right? So, the policies are sanctioned by the senior management. Standards are built on a sound policy and carry the weight of policies. And see, next one is the practices, the procedures and guidelines include detailed steps required to meet the requirement of the standards. So they are directly communicating with this, so that is the policies and standards and the practices. They are mutually included each other. That is, they are together only. We are going to build the organization security process. That the policies are directly communicated with the standards, and standards are communicated with the practices, procedures, and guidelines. So, what are the types of policies are followed? See, these are the three types of policies are followed. That is interface information security program policies and sorry, and issue specific information security policies and system specific information security policies. Yes. That is Interface Information Security Program consists of EISB and issue specific information security policies. It is nothing but of ISSB, and system specific information security policy is simply known as system STM. So these are the these types of policies are following. So next we are going to see about the detailed about the enterprise information security policies. It is also known as a general security policies, IT security policies, or information security policies. And sets strategic directions, scope, and done for all security efforts within the organizations. And it assigns some responsibility to various areas of the information security. So guides are used to develop and implement and management of the information security programs. So what are the enterprise information security policies? It is also known as the general security policy, and it is IT security policy and or information security policy. Then set the strategic directions, the scope, and return for all security effects within the organizations. Assign some responsibilities to the various areas of the information security and gives us some ideas about the guidelines for the development, implementation, and management of the information security program. So next one is the issue specific security. That is issue specific security is nothing but as of ISB. This is known as of is basically about the addresses specific areas of the technology and requires a frequent updates and contains a statement on position on specific issues, and it basically maintain about the approaches to creating and managing the and security policies, issues security policies. So they are going to create a number of independent ISB documents, create a single comprehensive ISSB document, and creating a modular ISSB document. So what are they saying? And the ISSB, that is the issue specific policies, mainly about the address specific areas of the technology, and it is going to require some frequent updates for the organization. And we are going to show about the position of the specific issues, and we are going to how we are going to approach and creating and managing the ISSB. And so by using of the independent documents, comprehensive of document and modular of ISSB document. So ISSB topics could include email, use of web, configuration of computers to defend against worms and viruses, precautions against hacking or testing organizations, security controls, home use of a company, owned computer equipment, use of a personal equipment on company networks, use of telecommunication technologies, that is a fax or phone, use of a photocopies. So these are the topic we have to include in a ISSB topics. That is nothing but of email, web, and configuration of the computer. We all know about the computers of configurations, and what are the hacking and testing organization security controls. Home use of a computer, company owned by the computer equipments. So use of a personal equipment on a company networks. So these are the some technologies we are using in the ISSB topics. So what are the components they are using in these policies? We're going to see about that is statement of a policy, scope and applicability, definition of the technology addressed, and the responsibilities and authorized access and usage of equipment, user access, fair and responsible use and production of the policies. So these are the components we are using in these policies. What are the statement and what are the authorized access and usage of the equipment? Okay. So that the prohibited usage of the equipment, it consists of described use or misuse or criminal use, offensive or harshing materials, copyrighted, licensed or author, other intellectual property, other restrictions. This are comes under the prohibited usage of the equipments. So it mainly about the system management. The system management consists of a management of stored materials, employer monitoring, and virus protection, physical security, encryption, violation of a policy, and the procedures for reporting violations of penalties of for violations. See what are the system management? It consists of storing materials, employer monitoring, virus protections, and physical security, encryptions, and that the policies includes of a procedures for reporting violation penalties. Answer. That the policy review and modified consists of scheduled review for policy and procedure for modification. Some limitation for the liability they are containing in the policies, that is a statement of liability or disclaimers. So these are the some policies reviews and modified and limitations of the policies. Next one is the system specific policies, that is a system SPS are frequently codified as standards and procedures to be used when configuring or maintaining a system. The system specific policies fall into two groups, that is access control list consists of the access control list and matrices and capability tables covering the rights and privileges of your particular users to your particular system. In this, configuration rules or compromise the specific configuration codes, and you have to enter the security system to guide the execution of the systems. So what are they saying? In that specific policies, we have to falling into two groups, that is ACLS, this is nothing but of access control list and configuration schedules. In that access control list, we are going to consist about the access control list and matrices and capability tables covering the rights and the privileges of a particular user to a particular system. For particular user to a particular system only, we are going to convey this policies, and in that configuration rules also we are going to convey some specific configuration codes entered in that security system to guide the execution of the systems. Next one is the ACL policies. See that both the Microsoft Windows and the NT 2000 and novel network files. What they are saying in this ACL policies is both the Microsoft Windows NT 2000 and novel network 5.x and 6.x families of the system translate the ACL access control into a sets of a configuration that administrators to the user control access to the respective system. That ACLS allows a configuration to restrict the access from anyone to anywhere. So they are going to restrict, they are going to allow the configuration restrictions to access from one to another from anywhere. They are going to restrict their browsers. Okay, so that ACLs regulate who they are giving some steps of the following is how we are going to implement or how we are going to follow that rules. They are going to show here. So that is it regulate with who can use the system and what authorized users can use and when authorized users can access the system and where authorized users can access the system from and how authorized users can access the system. So these are the following steps they are going to regulate in the ACL policies. Yes, see what are the steps. There are 5 steps. First they are showing about who can use the system and what authorized users can access and when authorized users can access the system, where authorized users can access the system from from the place, which place they are going to access the system and how the authorized users can access the system. So these are the following steps they are going to regulate it following the ACL policies. Next one is the information security blueprint. So when the name itself we can understand what is a blueprint, right? It is nothing but the framework policies. So if you see here, it is the basis for the design, selection, and it is all the security policies, education and training programs and technology controls. So more detailed version of a security framework, which is an outline of the overall information security strategy for an organization and a roadmap for planned changes to the information security environment of the organization should specify tasks to be accomplished and other in which they are to be realized. So they have to show about the framework of, or outline of the information and that is overall information in a security strategies on the organization. That is a roadmap for the planned changes. What are the information security in the environment of the organizations? And we are how we are going to design and select the process in with the all security policies and how we are going to give the education and training the programs to the particular controllers. So it should specific some tasks to accomplish and other the in which they are to be realized. So you have to reserve some scalable and upgradable and comprehensive plan for the information security. What are the upcoming years we are going to face for in the security policies? So we're going to see that. Okay, that standard and practices they are giving some models. There are 4 types of models there. So what are the 4 types of model we see here? First one is the ISO 17799 and BS 7799. See here in this model they are referenced about the what they are discussing in this model is in the see one of the most widely referenced and often discussed security models in the information technology and the code of the practices for the information security management, which was originally published as a British standard BS 7799. And in 2000, this code of practices was adopted as an international standard framework for an information security by the International Organization for a Standardization, that is ISO. It's nothing but of an international organization for a standardization and international electrotechnical communications as ISO or IEC. That is, IE is nothing but of International Electrotechnical Communication, and IOS is nothing but of International Organization for the Standardization. So what are the drawbacks in these ISO policies as they are showing here? Several countries have not adapted 17799 claiming there are fundamental problems. So the global information security community has not defined any justification for a code of practices are identified in the ISO and IEC 17799. It is the lack of the necessary measurement precision of the technical standards. So what they are showing is here some lack of issues or following these technical issues. So there is no reason to believe that 17799 is more useful than any other approach currently available. And so there is some no reason to believe that 17799 is more useful than any other approach currently available. And in 17799 is not as complete as other frameworks available, and is perceived to have been and prepared to given some tremendous impact to its adoption. Could have could have on industry information security controls. So next one is the objectives of ISO 17799. In that, organizational security policies needed the management direction and support. So 10 sections of the ISO and IAC 17799, it gives some 10 sections for an organizations. Organizational security policies and organizational security infrastructure and asset classification and control, personal security, physical and environmental security, communication and operation management, systems access control, system development and maintenance, business continuity planning, and comprehensive. So we have some alternate security models also available here. And see, some another policies are available to overcome this as objectives and drawbacks in the first policies. We are going to overcome some another models, that is NIST security models. So in this NIST security models, it refers the National Security Telecommunication and Information System Security Committee's document. This document presents a comprehensive model for the information security. This model consists of three dimensions. What are they saying? Another possible approaches was available is described in the many documents available from the Computer Security Resources Center of the National Institute of Standard and Technology. The following NIC document, it consists of some framework policies, that is NIC SB 812. It is the introduction to the computer security. Then is handbook. It gives some handbook policies and what are the computer security information. They are introduction about the computer security, and they are showing in that. Next one is the NIST SB 814, they are giving some generally accepted security policies, principles, and what are the basic practices for the securing in the IT system. In NIST SB 818, it shows about the guide for the developing security plans for IT system. In NIST SB 826, security self-assessment guide for the IT system. In NIST ASP 830, it gives about the risk management for the IT system. In NIST special publication, and it shows about the excellent references and the manager or administrator in the routine management they are showing. It provides a little guidance. However, on design and implementation of a new security system, and therefore it should be used only a valuable precursor to understanding an information security blueprint. In NIST special publication, that is 814, is generally accepted principles and practices for the security information technology and system, and it shows about some provides the best practices and security principles that can eitherly direct the security team in the development of the security blueprint. And the scope of this NIST 814 is broad. It is important to consider each of the security principles in the presence, and therefore the following sections examine some of the more significant points in more details. So it's showing about the security. Suppose the mission of the organization, security in an integral element of the sound management. Security should be cost effective, and the system owners have a security responsibility outside their own organization. Security responsibility and accountability should be made explicit, and the security requires a comprehensive and integrated approach. Security should be a periodically reassessed. Security is constrained by the societal factors. 33 principles enumerated. The third one policy is model is NIST SP 818. It gives the guidelines for the security, and developing a security plan for the technology systems can be used as a foundation for the and a comprehensive security blueprint and a framework. It provides some detailed method for the accessing and implementing controls and plans for the an application of varying the size, and it can serve as a useful guide to the activities and as an the AID in the planning process. It also includes some templates for the major application security plans. The table of content for the publication 818 is presented in the following. It consists of some three analyses in the system, that is the system boundaries, multiple similar system categories. So what are in this is showing? It mainly focus on the developing security plan and the technology, and it is used for the foundation of the comprehensive security blueprint and the framework. So here in that method, we are going to give some accessing and implementing control. That is, we are going to give some implementation control and the plans for the application in varying the sizes, and it can serve as a useful guide to the activities and also on the aid in the planning process. So it is a major application security plan. It consists of some analysis about the system, that is the system boundaries, multiple similar system and the system categories. In the next one is the plan development about the all the system. They are showing about the plan development in all the system. That is a plan control, system identification, system operational status, and the system interconnection and information sharing, sensitivity of the information handle, laws and regulation and policies affecting the system. So what are they showing? It's about the plan control, system identification, system operational status, and the system interconnection, information sharing, sensitivity of the information handle, and the laws and regulation and the policies affecting the systems. So these are the plan they are using in the old system. Plan we are going to develop in the old system. And so next is the what is the management control? The risk assessment and management, a review of the security controls, rule of the behavior, and a planning for the security in the life cycle, authorization of the processing that consists of a certification and accreditations and a system security plans. So what are the management controls? It consists of risk assessment and management, review of the security controls. So we are going to give some overview of the security process, security control, and in the first is the risk assessment. What are the risks we are going to face in the organization, and what are the risks and the management is going to face, and what are we are going to review the security controls. So according to that risk, we are going to review the security control. What are we going to give in the organization about the security, and what are the rules of the behavior, and we are going to give. First, third one is the rule, and fourth one is the planning for the security in the life cycle. Fifth one is that we are going to give it some authorized. So those who can use that person is known as authorization. You all know that authorization of a processing we are going to give in that fifth stage, that is a certification and aggregation. Next step is the system security planning. Last one is the planning process. In the operational controls, it consists of some 8 categories. That is the personal security, physical security, and third one is the protection. That is nothing but of input-output control. What are we are going to process in an organization? And the fourth one is the contingency planning, hardware and the system software, data integrity, documentation, and the security awareness, training and education. Ninth one is the incident response capability. So these are the 9 operation controls we are following in an organizations. And next one is the technical control. How we are going to control the technical process is identification and authentication, logical access control, audit trails. So these are the 3 technical controls. In NIST 826, the security self-assessment in the IT system, it consists of a table content they are having in the management control. So what are the table of content is risk management, review of the security control, life cycle maintenance, and the authorization of a processing, same system security plans. These are the table content in the management controls. Next one is the operation controls. The same, that is operation controls is nothing but about the when a personal security, physical security, and a production and input output controls, and a contingency planning, hardware system software, and data integrity, documentation, and security awareness, training and education, and incident response. How we are going to give the incident response capability. So they are showing, they are seeing about the capability of incident response. The technical control, identification and authentication, logical access control, audit trails, in that management control, and it addresses the design and the implement of the security planning and the process and the security program management. So they also addresses the risk management, and they also it addresses the design and implementation of the security planning process and the security program management. They also addresses the risk management and the security control reviews. They further describe the necessity and the scope of the legal compliance and the maintenance of the entire security life cycle. So what are the operational controls? It deals with the operational functionality in an organization. They include management function and lower level planning, such as disorder recovery and incident response planning. They also address some personal security, physical security, and the production of protection of the production inputs and outputs. They can guide and develop the education, training, and awareness program for the users, administrator, and management. Finally, they address the hardware and software system maintenance and the integrity of the data. Some technical controls are they are using in an organization. It addresses the and technical issues and implementing the security in an organization, as well as the issues are planning and selecting the technologies to protecting the information. They addresses the specific of a technology selection and acquisition of certain technology components. They also include logical access control such as identification, authentication, authorization, and accountability. They cover the cryptography to protect the information in storage and transit. Finally, they include the classification of assets and users to facilitate the authorization levels needed. Using these 3 sets of controls, the organization should be able to specify some controls to cover the entire spectrum of the safeguards, from strategic to tactical and from managerial to technical. That Visa International model is promotes some strong security measures in it, and is busy going to establish the guidelines for the security of its information system. It has developed 2 important documents, that is the security assessment process. Second one is agreed upon procedures. So both the documents provide some specific instruction on the use of the visa Cardholder Information Security Program. The security assessment process document is the series of the recommendations for the detailed examination of the organization system with an eventual goal of the integration in the visa system. So using the two documents, a security team can develop a sound strategy and for designing the good security architecture. So see what they are saying, and agreed upon the procedure documents and technologies required for a security system that carry the some folder information card, that is visa card folder information to and from visa systems. Using the two documents, a security team can develop a sound strategy and for the design of the good security architecture. The only downside to this approach is the specific focus on the system that can or do integrate with the research system with the impelled purpose of the carrying the and aforementioned call folder information. The baseline and the best blueprint they are saying. It is nothing but the baseline and the best practices or solid methods for the and connecting security practices, but provide less detail than the complete methodology. So possible to gain information by baselining and using the best practices and thus work backwards to an effective designs. The federal agency security practices, that is a federal agency security practices is nothing but of FASB site. The site is FASB dot NIC dot government. And designed to provide the best practices for the public agencies and adapted easily to provide and institutions. So this is the document found in the site included that is some of the key policies and planning documents and implementation strategies for the key technologies, and it shows about the some position description for the key security in the personal. And of a particular value is the section on program management, which includes the following, that is a summary guide is shows up the public law, executive orders and policy documents, position descriptions for the computer system security officers. That a position description for information security that shows about the position description of the computer specialist, sample of an information technology, IT security staffing plan for the large service application, and a sample of an information technology and security program policies, security handbook and standard operating procedures, telecommunicating and mobile computer security policies. So these are the some policies on position they are described in the information security. That's it. So we go on revision about what are the topics we covered in this logical design in an information security in an organization. Okay. Uh, See. What are the planning for the security? It shows about the how we are going to create the security and how we are going to review the organization, and how we are going to give some standard and practices. Answer. So why policies are we are going to keep in an organization? It follows some shaping basic rules, and what are the definition of the policies, standards and practices, and what are the policy effect must be, what are the how the policies must be. It consists of a properly disseminated, read, understood and agreed with all the members of the organization. And this diagram shows about the policy, standards and practices in the organization, how they are grouped together for the communication, and how we are giving some policy standards, and what are the types of policies. And so they are given. There are three types of policies, and what is the enterprise information security policies, and what is the issue specific security policies, and what are the components of the policies, how the we are going to propagate the usage of the equipments in the policies, and what are the system management, and how the violation of the policies, and what are the limitations of the liability, and what are the modified of the policies are happening. And third one is the system security policies, that is nothing but consists of two groups, that is the ACL and the configuration rules. That ACL policies consists of what configuration and how we are going to restrict the configurations from one to any or another person anywhere. So it gives some regulator who can use the system. These are the following technologies and following steps. So what the next one is about the information security security blueprint. The blueprint is nothing but the name itself. We can understand what is the security blueprint, that is security framework, and what are the standard and the practices are happening in the models. So there are four types of models. What are the drawbacks and what are the and overcome one model we are keeping some another model. So next one is the NXT security model. This also comes under the support types of a model, and how we are going to plan the development in the all system. The all system should contains of this configuration securities and management controls and operational controls, technical controls, and what is the last but the table of contents that manages the management controls consists of some 5 steps, that is risk management, review of the security control, life cycle maintenance, authorization of a process and system security, and what are the operational controls in the model, and how we are going to technically control that, and how we are going to technically management that control, operational control, technical control, and how we are going to communicate with the ease of international card model, that is the basic about the Visa card holders, and baseline and best blueprints methods. That's it. Thank you.